Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. So Bitcoin trading at 71.55, Ethereum 175, and XRP 0.192. So everything up a little bit in the crypto space, guys. You can see up here the market cap is at 205.6 billion. Okay, growing, slowly but surely, but nothing really gigantic, enormous happening in the space. We're not seeing much movement. And it seems like this has been the same story every single day since we kind of crashed back in mid-March. There hasn't been much movement. I think traders are trepidatious at this moment in time, not really knowing what to do, where crypto's gonna go based on the economy. So I think a lot of people are holding. I think there obviously was some buying up as soon as the price crashed down here. So some people were buying up crypto assets like XRP. This is XRP on the daily. I'll bring up BTC, same with BTC, and other crypto assets as well. Everything, all the charts. Here's Tron, just as a random example. Ethereum. Okay, we've got Litecoin, LTC, USD. Everything's kind of doing the same thing, right? After a major sell-off, cryptocurrencies were seen as price cheap, and so people were buying up, but not in large quantities, not at high rates, because I still do think traders are trepidatious. Guys, pay attention to this. Real correlation. Bitcoin price pumps follow US Fed QE money printing. So this is an interesting observation. Bitcoin's birth and price surges have been marked by inflationary moves by the US central bank, and 2020 should thus follow, suggests Plan B. So Bitcoin price bull markets coincide with one specific macroeconomic trend, and the next may now be around the corner. In a Twitter debate on April 18th, Plan B, the vocal analyst who created Bitcoin's stock-to-flow price model, argued that the cryptocurrency benefited from money printing. And in theory, guys, this makes sense. If the Fed is printing money, people should theoretically be scared of that and therefore take their money and put it into something that they see more secure. And some people are indeed putting it into Bitcoin. And we're seeing this correlation, which I find very interesting. BTC waits as QE infinity passes $2 trillion. So in particular, the United States Federal Reserve's QE programs appear to spark price improvements. Very interesting that 1.5 trillion 2013 QE3 coincides with the 2013 Bitcoin bull market, one post reads. Now, we've talked about the 2013 Bitcoin bull market as well, and there were other things going on in the world, like the bank runs in Cyprus. So maybe it doesn't entirely have to do with one thing or another, although the fact that it does coincide is very, very interesting. What will 2020 QE4 bring? 2 trillion and counting. Plan B has responded to data from commentator, this person, who revealed that since the Fed formally began bailing out the U.S. economy in mid-March, it has handed over $2 trillion in new cash to Wall Street. Guys, here is a chart here showing you, just demonstrating where QE was occurring. And you guys can see 2019 when Bitcoin was born, a lot of stimulus. Then it went down, and then we saw another Bitcoin bull run around here. For those of you guys looking at the screen here, 2013, QE Q3. And then, guys, we remember Bitcoin was in a bear market from 2014 to 2015, and you guys can see the QE easing off around that time. So we only have this chart from up till 2015. Where will Bitcoin go from there? As Plan B noted, like RT host Matt Kaiser last year, Bitcoin itself was born on the day that the United Kingdom was pondering a fresh bailout for its banking sector in the aftermath of the 2008 financial crisis. In the future, he warned U.S. President Donald Trump will find the appeal of more bailouts hard to resist, referring to Zimbabwe's currency implosion and hyperinflation. He predicts he will go all in like Mugabe. Okay, and the Zimbabwe currency had an unfathomable hyperinflation rate at, guys, 89.7 sextillion% in 2008. Okay, not a million, not a billion, not a trillion, not a quadrillion, sextillion. That's a lot. So what are we going to see with the US dollar? What are we going to see with Bitcoin? Will we see a Bitcoin surge if things get worse? And it's looking like the US isn't really letting up. This is an unprecedented event that we have never seen in our time. The fact that we are going through a pandemic, that hasn't happened since 1918. And then the world was very, very different. The economies of the world were not so inextricably linked to each other. And I just brought up the S&P 500 here because, Fed printing money, pumping money into the economy. We're seeing it being reflected on the stock charts. But can this last forever? Can we get up here and successfully get out of this? And how long is this pandemic going to last? Like, these are questions that I never thought I'd be answering on this channel. We're in a pandemic. How long is the pandemic going to last? How is this? It's like, what? Exactly, guys. We've all kind of switched gears here. So very interesting news. And yeah, we have to just continue to keep an eye on this. XRP Crypto Wolf on Twitter posted this: South Korea's government labels blockchains as a golden opportunity for the nation. So the South Korean government has stated that the blockchain market represents a golden opportunity for the country. They are now calling for private sector companies throughout South Korea to exploit this potential. According to a report published on April 17th from FN News, the Vice Minister of Strategy and Finance, Koo Yoon-cheol, held a meeting on blockchain technology which brought together a number of private industry experts. And guys, their findings are overwhelmingly positive. Here's a quote: "The size of the blockchain-related industry is expected to grow by more than 80% on average, and is competitively supporting foreign countries to preoccupy the market that is attracting attention as a promising technology in the future." Not only that, the Vice Minister affirmed that the blockchain technology gap between the United States, Europe, and China could be reduced in the next 2 or 3 years, meaning that more active blockchain technology advancements will occur, essentially bridging that gap between the West and the East. And the South Korean Vice Minister saying that their country will surely benefit, but many other countries will benefit as well, right? With this interconnectivity, we will see more countries being able to do business together, especially countries where we may not have seen a lot of business being done between certain countries for, logistical reasons. Maybe not socio-political reasons, but logistical reasons. We are going to see more of this. So the economic gap between the West and the East shrinking due to blockchain advancements in the space. So thanks so much, XRP Crypto Wolf. He posted something else on Twitter here, XRP Crypto Wolf. More than half of eToro's global user base is invested in XRP. So guys, this from the Block Crypto. More than half of eToro's global user base is invested in XRP. How many of you guys use eToro? I personally do not. However, I thought the statistic was really interesting. More than half of eToro's global user base has invested in XRP, Ripple's native digital asset, according to a new report. Data from trading platform eToro's latest quarterly report indicates that 54.5% of its global user base is invested in the digital asset, so more than half. Guess who's number 2, guys? Of course, Bitcoin at 35.1%, and Ethereum and Litecoin capturing 23.9% and 14.5% respectively. And here's the breakdown for those of you guys looking at the screen. You can see a huge jump for XRP investors here, way up here at 54.5%, and then the next biggest, Bitcoin at 35.1%. Stellar is down here at number 5, followed by Dash, Bitcoin Cash, Cardano, Neo, ETC, EOS, IOTA, Tron, Tezos, and Zcash, only holding 1.7%. So it's interesting to look at the types of people maybe using exchanges like eToro versus other exchanges around the world. I wish we had these same statistics from different exchanges so we could, take in the information and analyze it to see, who is more likely to use this platform versus this platform. I love data like that. I find that interesting. So guys, I'll link this article in the description if you want to read it further. We saw this from Michael at Val5Links on Twitter, and this from a couple of days ago, but XRP liquidity is reaching new highs despite the pandemic. We saw it a couple of days ago, and then now this is the XRP AUD corridor, and we can see, look at that chart, okay? Look at that. I don't know if you guys can see that there. This from April 14th, hitting a new all-time high in that corridor, and I believe other corridors as well. Let's go back to that article. We go back to that? Yeah, we can. Right here. Okay, so we got XRP MXN also hitting new all-time highs up here. And we just have the Australian and the Mexican corridors here. This, of course, from the Liquidity Index bot. All I can think is that since we are in such a weird situation in life, people need money. People have lost their jobs. So we're seeing more money move through ODL, through these corridors. Because these corridors were already open and running, we are seeing this money move. Could you imagine, though, if ODL corridors were open all over the world, what these numbers would look like and how much XRP utility we would see at this point in time? Everybody's locked in their houses, and, some people might have family members overseas. They might need to send them money, and because the costs are so expensive at this moment in time, maybe people are holding off. Maybe it's not an emergency, like in some situations where it's you either eat or you don't. But could you imagine if it cost cost pennies or, even a couple of bucks to send large sums of money to people, how much more we would see, especially if ODL corridors were open around the world today. Unfortunately, we're not there yet, but we are moving towards that, guys. I also saw this a little disconcerting, at least maybe if you are thinking of it on a certain, with a certain mindset, I guess I'll say. Ripple poised to sell XRP for 21 more years. Here's how much cryptocurrency the payment startup has sold so far. So this, I gotta say this from John Luciano at LuckyJohn_XRP on Twitter. Thanks so much for tagging me in this because I wanted to talk about this. Couldn't get to it yesterday. I had a lot on my plate yesterday. But the San Francisco-based cross-border payments company Ripple is set to continue selling XRP for the next 21 years. Ripple owns more than half. Okay, so it goes into the how much they have, how much they've sold. According to a new report from XRP Arcade, an independent media source covering the cryptocurrency, Ripple has sold an average of 196 million XRP per month since December of 2017. At that rate, the company will continue its sales until April of 2041. So I don't know if this is completely accurate first off, because it's just based on former numbers, which, we know the numbers can change. We know that in the past, XRP has been redeposited into the escrow account because of lack of usage. But once we see a boom, once we start to see a ramp up, I don't think that that's going to be the case. I don't think that the 1 billion, in some cases, it might not be enough every month. And so the whole idea was to sell XRP, I believe it was for a total of 60 months, 4.5 years. Nevertheless, they're just basing this on former numbers, so it's not necessarily correct. And to me, this also sounds like they are not taking into account the future and the growing demand for XRP, which is what I'm going to get to next, folks. I don't know if you saw this tweet from Stephen Bull from the Dieppe at DiepSun on Twitter. Dexta hybrid centralized, decentralized exchange powered by the XRP ledger is going to basically tokenize everything under the sun. So let's take a look at this solution. Dexta hybrid centralized decentralized exchange, CDEX. Dexta is a hybrid centralized decentralized exchange powered by the XRP ledger's native centralized exchange, XRPL. DEX with the vision of tokenizing and facilitating digital exchange for every asset of value in the world in real time, thereby globally enabling the IOE. The IOE can be made possible by tokenizing every asset as an XRPL token on the XRP ledger and pairing each asset against Dexta's native utility token DXTA and facilitating the exchange of such tokens on the XRPL. So for example, they're talking about stocks, fiat currencies, commodities, gift cards, bonds, cryptocurrencies, insurance vehicles, derivatives, real estate, antiques, ships, investment funds, loans, artwork, and sports contracts. So they are going beyond even what we have formerly thought of as XRP utility, right? We are looking at the possibility for tokenizing seems like everything under the sun as far as I'm concerned. Stephen Dieppe also posted some follow-ups here with regards to this. The XRP ledger is one of the most widely adopted DLTs in the world. The ledger can scale to 65,000 plus transactions per second, as stated here. Okay, this all from that Dexta document. It is a matter of time before all 300 plus banks can leverage ODL on XRP. CBDCs or stablecoins will be predominantly bridged via the growing XRPL network of 300 plus banks. And so it's a matter of time before there is enough regulatory clarity and liquidity where all 300 plus banks and more can leverage ODL on the XRPL. This not just from Steven's mouth, this from the Dexta document. So more going on here. XRPL DEX auto bridging feature allows two non-XRP currencies to be bridged by XRP as an intermediary currency in a synthetic order book and serves to improve liquidity across all currency pairs by using XRP. And here's the roadmap 2019 to 2021 DXTA auto bridging functionalities. And they're also leveraging Corda Settler. So great tweet thread here from Stephen Dieppe, Stephen Bull from the Dieppe at DiepSun on Twitter. Guys, you should be following him if you're not. He's been in the space for a while, tweets out some great stuff, so I gotta thank him. Thanks so much, Stephen, for posting that. I feel like we need a bit of a boost today, guys. It's Saturday. Crypto just seems to be puttering away. We will see a boom, though. We will see whether it is spec-related, which I do think we will see first, or real-world utility, which will eventually come down the pipe. You and I are holding one of the best emerging assets of our time. Anyways, that's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.